This is the graphing notes. So what we are going to start with is the general form of an equation is y equals mx plus b. What we for sure need to understand is that the m, the number in front of the x, stands for slope. And b, the number that's by itself, stands for the y-intercept. Okay, so for the first couple problems, we're just going to try to identify slope and y-intercept. So I'm going to do slope in blue and we'll do y-intercept in a different color. So if I look at this first equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 3, the number in front of x is 1/2, so my slope is 1/2. Okay, same thing with the second equation. The second equation, the number in front of x is -4/3. Oops, sorry. So my slope is -4/3. Okay, and then similarly on these equations, it's telling us that the slope is 10 and -7. So if I were to write an equation, it would be y equals 10x plus whatever the y-intercept is. Or in this one, it would be y equals -7x plus whatever the y-intercept is. So now let's talk about y-intercept. Y-intercept is the number that's by itself. So in this first problem, the -3 is by itself. So -3 is the y-intercept. In the second problem, it's 6. So the y-intercept in the second problem is +6. And then in the other problems, it tells us what the y-intercept. The y-intercept is -3 and 11. So for the first problem, it'd be y equals 10x minus 3. And for the second problem, it'd be y equals -7x plus 11. So it's just a minus if it's a negative y-intercept. It's a positive if it's a positive y-intercept. Okay, so now the last thing we're going to learn is how to use that information to graph. So for the first one, we're going to start with slope. Slope is always the number in front of x. So this first one, my slope is 3/4. Okay, and then for this first one, the number that's by itself is 1. So my y-intercept is +1. So now when we go to graph, we always start at the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 1, so I'm going to go to my y-axis. Remember, the left and right numbers are your x-axis, the up and down numbers are your y-axis. So we're always going to start on this axis right here, and I'm going to start at 1. So I'm going to put a point at 1. I'm going to move according to my slope. So if I have a positive slope, I'm going to go up and right. If I have a negative slope, I'm going to go down and right. Okay, so I'm never ever going left. I'm just going up and right if it's positive or down and right if it's negative. So since it's a +3/4, I'm going to go up that many by the top number. So up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and quick check, we want a positive slope. Is my line tilting in the positive direction? Yes, that's how you know you did it right. Okay, let's try one more. So for this one, my slope is the number in front of x. So my slope is -1/4. And my y-intercept is the number that's by itself. So my y-intercept is 3. So I always start on the y-axis. So I'm going to put a point at 3. And then I'm going to move by my slope. So it's a -1/4. So I'm going to go down 1. And then right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then quick check, is my line tilting in the negative direction? Yes, it is, so I'm good. The other way that we could figure out how to graph is we could just use Desmos, and you will have access to Desmos on all of your tests and quizzes moving forward. So if I typed in the equation y equals -1/4 x plus 3, I can see that my y-intercept is at 0, 3. And if I wanted to see more points that are on my table to plot that graph, I'd just hit the settings wheel. So you hit the wheel at the top right-hand corner of your Desmos graph, and then you hit the table, and it'll give you points that are on that table. If you want to see more points, you can just type in any number. Okay, so you're able to see every point that's on that line. So I can just graph in Desmos to see which graph matches that equation. So let's try another one in Desmos. 3/2 x minus 5. So y equals 3/2 x minus 5. So if I look at Desmos, I have a point at 0, -5. I can see I have a point at 3.30, but if I want to see more points, especially the nice ones, I can hit the settings wheel and hit the table button. So I've got a point at -2, -8, -1, -6.50, -5. Another nice one is 2, -2. So now I could plot those on my graph. I know I've got one at 0, -5, and I saw that I had one at 2, -2. So there's my graph. Okay, but if I wanted to talk about slope and y-intercept, my slope is right here, it's 3/2. My y-intercept is right here, it's -5. Okay, but you can use Desmos to help you.